Hi everyone, it's Alice, and to no surprise to anyone, I have accumulated some new books, so we're gonna do a book haul. We have all kinds of books today. We have some adventure books, some classics, some mystery books, some really exciting non-fiction books, all kinds of things. But before we get into that, we are gonna do a little unboxing because I got a very exciting package in the mail. So a little while ago, a brand named PocketBook reached out to me about their e-readers, which is very exciting because I've kind of wanted one for a while, and so they very kindly just sent one over. So we're gonna open this up and have a look. Now, I have had an e-reader before, years and years ago, but it died. But I really liked having it actually, so I'm very excited about this. I think this is gonna be great for travel, the times that I do that. This is very small, that's very cool. I think it's gonna be very handy for travel, but most importantly, I think this is gonna be very handy on my commute because I commute about an hour a day, and this is a little more handy to bring with me than physical books because sometimes I'm reading very big books and I can't be bothered to take them with me. I also think it has to be said that I obviously have a little bit of a space issue on my shelves. Like, I'm always running out of space. So I think this is going to be great for like when I don't need to, like I don't want to buy a book in physical format, I can read it on this. And I think I'm going to read some classics on this because a lot of classic books are free as ebooks. So maybe this will make me read more classics. I hope so, at least. I also know from having had an e-reader before that reading on this kind of like papery type screen is way better for me than reading on my phone. I really don't like reading on my phone or on my iPad or anything like that. So this will be good for that as well. I have also, because I knew this was coming, I have looked into it a little bit, and I've tried to look into the system for how you get ebooks on here, and it seems very easy, which is great because the one I had before, it was very complicated and was such a hassle, but for this one it seems very easy. All right, so this is what it looks like. Very small, very handy, pretty light. Like, I think this is going to be perfect to carry around in my bag and just have books with me everywhere because I don't always want to lug huge books around with me. Also, this is maybe a little random, but I have kind of small hands and this is the perfect size for my hand, which I'm very happy about. I'm very excited to try this out and see how I like it. Maybe I'm re-entering my e-reader era. We'll see, but I'll leave a link to this in the description if you want to read more about it. It has all kinds of different things on it. It's like waterproof and stuff, which I don't know how handy that's going to be for me because I don't know where I would ever drop this in water. But maybe if my bag gets wet or something, I don't know. But I will leave a link to it, and thank you to PocketBook for sending this to me. That's very kind. And I'm excited to try this. I feel like this is going to make me read even more, which I am happy about because I have a lot of books that I want to read. Now, let's move on to the actual book haul. I have got so many new books lately. I don't know what's gotten into me. I think that it's because it's summer and I've been reading like more than usual, and it's giving me ideas for how much I'm going to be able to read when I have some time off during the summer, and I think I maybe overshot it a little bit. And also, obviously, I'm just getting books because I really like getting new books. So, you know, all of this is just excuses, but I have a lot of exciting books to show you. Firstly, we have a couple of classics. I got these two beautiful books because I made the mistake of going into a bookshop, and that was the mistake. But I saw these and I just couldn't leave them because when I'd seen them, I had to have them. So I got these. I actually have Frankenstein in this edition already, so now I have 3 of these, and I just know they're gonna look so good together on my shelves, and they're just so beautiful. I couldn't leave them. The first one that I got was The Secret Garden by Frances Burnett, and you may know that this is my favorite book from childhood. This is the first book that I can remember reading, and I remember the librarian that gave it to me, and it was just such a huge experience for me, and this was just very beautiful. If you don't know, the story is about this girl who loses her parents, and she is forced to go live with her uncle, basically, but this girl is kind of horrible. Like, she's very spoiled, very ill-tempered, and she's not happy about having to go live with her uncle, who lives in this mansion, but this mansion has all of these secrets, and the garden also has a secret in it, and it's just beautiful. And I have a lot of great memories of this book, and this edition is just absolutely stunning. It also has like gold pages. Oh, it's amazing. The second one I got is Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery, which, believe it or not, I've actually never read this book, but I have a feeling that I'm gonna love it. And occasionally people will like recommend it to me, but I also think a lot of people just think that I've read this book, and I just think I'm really gonna like it. To be honest, I don't really know what the story is about. I think we're following this girl who's like 10 or 11, and she's adopted by this couple, but I feel like they're siblings. I really don't know, but she's adopted, and these people actually wanted a boy, but now they're stuck with her, and I guess she's kind of like a bit of a character. She's a little feisty. I don't know. I wanted to get an edition of this for a while, and when I saw this, I was like, this one is the one that I am gonna get, because it's just so beautiful. I feel like this would be a great summer read, actually, so maybe I should try to read it this summer before autumn rolls around. But I have a lot of ideas for how much I'm going to be able to read before that time, so we'll see. But I'm very excited to have this, and I just know these books are going to look so good on my shelves. They're so beautiful. Then we have a little adventure section, starting with Empire of Shadows by Jacquelyn Benson, which I have like kind of already read in the form of The Smoke Hunter, which like this is a sort of re-release of that, but it's been reworked. So the book is a little bit different, but it has the same characters at least, and I think the story is similar, but it's been rewritten and republished. This cover is much more beautiful than the cover of The Smoke Hunter, at least the edition that I had, and it feels much nicer. But I just got this because I loved that first book so much, and I kind of want to read it again now that it's been reworked. If it's even better than the first time, I'm gonna be blown away, because I loved The Smoke Hunter when I read it the first time. It's historical fiction adventure, and we're following this main character in here, who is a woman who has archaeological ambitions, and she comes across this map to an ancient lost city. And in the version that I read, she steals the map, but it doesn't say anything about that on the back, but she does find this map, so I don't know if she steals it in this version of the story, but she ends up going after this lost city, but of course she's not the only one who wants to find it, and the other people who want to find it are very dangerous, so it's kind of like a race to find it first, and it's very exciting. I am really excited to reread this. I loved the story the first time, and I'm really wondering what's been added to this, and I do think that some things have been removed as well. I don't really know. It says that some scenes have been removed, some have been added, there's more history in this one. Sounds pretty cool. I thought that The Smoke Hunter, when I read it, was just so much fun. It was a little bit ridiculous and a little bit over the top, but just so much fun. So it'll be fun to reread this, kind of, I guess. An exciting thing as well is that there is going to be a second book to this, which is super cool. So I want to read this, and I will probably read the second one and the third one and all of them if there are more books. I really like this cover as well. I feel like this is much more the vibe of the book than the other cover that I had. The second one that I got has pirates in it, which is very exciting. This is Saltblood by Francesca de Torres, and to be honest, I don't really know that much about this book. I heard about this book about a year ago, and it just came out, and I've just been excited about it since because I saw the cover and I knew that it was about pirates, and I thought that is gonna be perfect for me. So now I have it, and it's very exciting. I think this is set in the 1600s, and we're following a female pirate, and it promises like adventure and treasure and passion and all of these things, and that's all I really know. I kind of want to go into this blind and see what I find. I do think though that this is based in part on an actual pirate I don't really know, but very excited to read this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Moving on, we have a mystery and horror category, starting with Cover Story by Susan Rigetti. This is about this woman who ends up like doing a sort of scam with a con artist, but she's like tricked into it, I think. It's about this woman who lives in New York and she's going to NYU, but then I think she loses her scholarship and she becomes friends with this other woman who seems to be helping her out, but then she's not actually helping her, and they end up, I don't know, in some sort of terrible place, I guess. I don't know what it is about this. I just saw the cover and I thought it sounded interesting, and I found out that it's an epistolary novel, so it has like texts and correspondence and all of those things, and I kind of want to read more of these kinds of books because they're quite fast reads and it's just fun to have like different kinds of writing in it, I guess. I don't know. I've never heard anyone talk about this. I just saw it. I thought it sounded cool, so I got it. Sometimes you just gotta take a shot with books, and you know, sometimes you just see a book and you just think, I would like to read that. That's what happened with this. The second one also happens to be epistolary. It's The Twyford Code by Janice Hallett. And I got this book just because I read 2 books by this author now. I really liked both, so I might as well just keep reading her books. This one is about this secret code that is written into these like children's books. And I think a teacher finds out about it, and then after she finds out about it, she disappears. And we're following this man who I think was her student decades later as he's trying to figure out what happened to her. I don't really know. Sounds interesting. I really like Janice Hallett's books, so might as well read this one as well. Then we have got this, which feels quite summery to me, like the cover is giving me that kind of vibe. This is The Cove by L.J. Ross, and it's about this woman who I think survives the attack of like a serial killer or something, and she has it all before this happens to her. Like her life is perfect, but then she survives this thing and she finds it very difficult to return to her old life. So I think she ends up moving and running this tiny bookshop in Cornwall, which, you know, a woman like running a tiny bookshop in a small rural place plus a mystery, like, I don't need any more than that. Sign me up. That sounds great. Lastly, for this category, we have Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield. And I have heard so many good things about this book that I just want to read it and see what it's like. It seems like, I mean, it is horror, but I don't know how much horror is in this. It seems to veer a little bit more like weird. I don't really know. But it's about this woman who returns from this deep sea mission, and this mission ends in catastrophe, and her husband is like super happy that she survived and that she's back, but pretty soon it appears like not everything is great, and I don't know what happened, but I'm wondering if she brought something back from the deep sea, or like, obviously something is off with her, and I'm very intrigued as to what it is. Hopefully this is not too scary for me because I get very easily frightened, but I've just heard so many good things. I'm very intrigued. Then we have some historical fiction books, starting with a book that I have been recommended maybe about 1,000,000 times. It's The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society by Marianne Shaffer and Annie Barrows. And I've just been recommended this so much that I finally picked up a copy. I feel like a lot of people have heard about this book, or you may have seen the movie, which I think maybe I've seen too, but to be honest, I can't really remember. But I saw like a movie poster and like it seems very familiar, but I've forgotten it, so I don't really know. But this is set right after the Second World War, and we're following this woman who I think learns about what happened to this little island during the German occupation. I don't really know. I think there's a romance in here as well. I have no idea. I picked this up mostly because everyone thinks I should read it, or at least a lot of people think I should read it. And I think I'll like it. We'll see. This is also like letters, which is always fun to read. Then I have a book that I picked up kind of on a whim because I saw this cover and I just got a really good, like, cozy vibe from it. It's Chai Time at Cinnamon Gardens by Shankari Chandran. And this is set in Australia, which is cool, and it's about this nursing home that is like very picturesque, and it's beautiful, and it's all about like community and memory, and it has all of these colorful inhabitants. But then it says that something is like threatening this place. I don't know what it is. The blurb is a little bit vague, so I have no idea what that is, but I don't know. I just thought this looked kind of cute. I do think this is the kind of book that has both contemporary and historical fiction perspectives, so that'll be interesting. And yeah, it's just one of those books that I saw and I thought I would like to read that. That happens to me a lot, and I really should rein in my impulses, but here we are. Next, we have got Briefly, A Delicious Life by Nell Stevens. And this is a book that I have seen around. This one has like a lot of different beautiful covers, and I really like this one as well. It's historical fiction, but it also has a contemporary viewpoint again. The historical fiction viewpoint is set in like the 1400s, and this 14-year-old girl is at a monastery, and I think she dies there. And then in the contemporary perspective, a family goes to this monastery, and this girl is like haunting the place or something. I don't really know how that works, but I also feel like I've heard something about like this ghost falling in love with someone, and I don't know if that's in the family or another ghost or how that works. I have no idea, but it sounds very interesting, and there is something very intriguing about this cover, and I've just heard a lot about it, and I think I'm gonna like it. Then we have a mix of science fiction, dystopia, and fantasy, starting again with a book that I've been recommended a lot. It's This Is How You Lose the Time War. And this is one of those books that I've actually almost bought several times, but I feel like it's kind of one of those books that people either love or hate, and I don't know if it's for me. But then occasionally people will recommend me this book and be like, you are going to love it. So I'm just gonna give it a go. It's science fiction, and it's about these two people, I think, who are on opposite sides of like a space war, and they end up corresponding, but then they like that correspondence turns into them falling in love. I have no idea. The setup sounds really good, so I understand why people recommend it to me. It's a little bit shorter than I thought it would be, so I'm wondering how we're gonna do this story in like these pages. Like, I just thought this would be longer. It's only around 170 pages. It'll be interesting to see if I like it. Next, we have a book that I actually got from a friend, which was very nice. This is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and this is a book that I've seen around a lot. I feel like everyone has read this book. I didn't know though that this has a kind of like time travel element to it. Like, I don't know what I thought this book was, but that's not what I thought it was. Apparently it's about this cafe in Tokyo where people can go to like travel back in the past or revisit memories or something like that, and we meet 4 people who go to this coffee shop and do that. That sounds very interesting, and my friend really thought I would like this, and because she gave it to me, I'm gonna read it. Then we have this. This is El-Mohtar by Mark Dunn. And this is a dystopian novel. I'm always interested in those, and it sounds really interesting. It's about this girl who lives on an island, and it seems like this island falls under this totalitarian regime. I don't know if it starts out that way, but the leaders of the island start banning different letters in the alphabet, so the people there aren't allowed to use them. And the thing that really intrigued me about this is that I think as we go, the letters that disappear also disappear from the writing in this book, and I'm really wondering how that's gonna be done. Like, it sounds like an interesting little twist, so I'm very excited to see what it's like. Then we have a little bit of a witchy book. It's The Once and Future Witches by Alix E. Harrow, and this is like historical fiction, fantasy, and it's set in the late 1800s when magic is dead, witches have all been burned, and it's like a lost art. but then these sisters start looking into it again. And I think the reason that they're doing it is that they're a part of the suffragist movement and they want to turn that movement into like a witch movement, which sounds really, really good. I also love this cover. Like, it's beautiful. And I don't know what to expect from this, but very intrigued. I do love a good witch book. Whatever form it comes in, I always want to give it a go. Then at the very end, we have a little nonfiction section, starting with this book, which I'm super excited about. This is The Art Thief by Michael Finkel. And this is like true crime, and it tells the story of one of the world's most prolific art thieves. And to be honest, that's kind of enough for me. And the reason that I really want to read this, and the reason I'm so excited about it, is that I'm always looking for books that are kind of like The Feather Thief. That's one of my favorite nonfiction books, and it's about like thieves and a heist, and although in that book they're not stealing art, I just feel like this seems a little similar, so I'm very excited. I'm hoping it's gonna be like exciting to read, because I have read some other books that I thought would be similar that didn't really hit it, but I just have a really good feeling about this. It also has like pictures of some of the paintings in here, I think, which I really like. It has these pictures in the middle, and I'm wondering if this thief stole all of these things. I don't know, but I'm very, very excited to find out. And I'm just, I don't know, I have a really good feeling about this. It does mention the author on the back here, actually, the author who wrote The Feather Thief, and it says that this is really good. He says so. That may not mean anything, but we'll see. Lastly, we have An Immense World by Ed Yong. And I got this mostly just because it's been a while since I've read a nature-y kind of nonfiction book, and I really enjoy reading those, and I just want to read more of them. This one is all about how different animals sense the world. So they use different senses than us, I guess, or they're the same senses, but they're different. So it's all about how these creatures, like how they see the world or perceive the world, which I just thought sounded really interesting. I also feel like this is going to be great for me squirreling away like weird fun facts in my brain to bring out in conversation when I don't know what to say, because I do that a lot. It's a little weird, but I really like it. So I'm very excited to read this. I don't know. Oh, this also has pictures of different creatures, I guess. I love seeing pictures of creatures that I have never seen before. I'm amazed at all times. Ooh, it's got some bugs though. Not really into that, but we'll see. We'll see what this is like. Those were all the books I had to show you today though, and oh boy, do I have a lot of reading that I need to do with all of these books and all of the books that I'm gonna get for the new e-reader. I'm gonna be very busy reading this summer, but I also feel like reading is my favorite hobby, so I'd be happy to do that. But yeah, I should probably go read some of these books. I'd love to know if you've read any of the books that I mentioned today and what you thought, and also if you have picked up any cool new books lately. I'd love to hear about that as well. As always, thank you very much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you soon. Bye!